Maryland at Ohio State. Uh, would you look at that? Pushed. Look at
Yes.
that.
Come on now.
So actually, both of our records that I had marked as a loss, we can bump those guys up. I'll update that after. But
If you're watching this, and if you're watching this as an individual breakdown, just ignore that part. Go back and watch our full video, our full week 6 breakdown, and you'll understand when we picked games, what happened there. But yeah, let's get into this.
yeah, look, first half, what was it tied 10-10? And then right out of the half, Michael Oxley, Kevin Sumlin, Josh Gaddis go down, they score a touchdown. And you're like, holy cow, where these Terps go? Come on. But then the wheels just came off the track. Kyle McCord dinked and dunked his way to 320 yards and a couple scores. I mean, was he that impressive? Tell me, was Kyle McCord insanely impressive?
I was not. And let me tell you, yeah, it was 10-10 and a half. It was 10-0 in the second quarter, and Maryland had the ball. And I'm so sorry, Talia, kind of that's what he does, and he turned the ball over, and there was a pick six there, and obviously changed the momentum of that game. But we talked about this. I don't even think it matters how Kyle McCord's playing right now. In 2 weeks, I think it really will. Right when they host Penn State. Um, right, but that defense is awesome. We talked about this in the breakdown. Is this defense, like Texas's defense, this defense is good enough to keep them in ball games, right? The Ohio State's the past 3-4 years lose this game. They absolutely lose this game, but the defense is good enough and makes plays to even spark their offense, which is or buy enough time for that offense to really lean on people and to realize, oh, we have Marvin Harrison Jr. We can just throw at him whenever we want. And Cade Stover's a baller too. He didn't get a target until late in like a while. It's really interesting. It's a really interesting Ohio State team to watch this year. And not that I'm not high on them still. I just think I'm kind of waiting for it to click. Like you haven't seen them put together a full four quarter game, right? Obviously, Trayvon Henderson being out hurts that running game for sure. But no offense to Maryland, and Mike Locksley's done a really good job building that program. This was a really well coached football team, right? You saw them have some really sneaky plays in
Right.
this game that saved them timeouts or penalties or whatever it was by the Maryland coaching staff. But Ohio State should be able to line up whoever in that backfield and just kind of run the ball really, really well. And they didn't. They were under 4 yards of carry for the running backs. And Makabuka, where are you at, man? Julian Fleming, where are you at? Carnell Tate, the freshman, what's going on? If you're going to beat the elite teams on your schedule, Penn State, Michigan, Georgia, whoever comes to the Big 12, Pac-12 champion, like you're going to need more than Marvin Harrison Jr. on your offense. Kyle McCord needs to step up. That O-line, someone on the rushing game. Like your defense is good enough to win a national championship. Your defense is good enough to win a national championship. For Ohio State, this is the first time
Yeah.
since 2014 that statement is true. And you don't want to ruin it with that pedestrian offense right now.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Imagine you're an AP voter, which you and I should both be AP voters based on some of the ballots that I've seen out there.
Agreed.
Wild. But how many teams are you ranking above Ohio State? This is an undefeated Ohio State, by the way, that has a win on the road against Notre Dame.
I do think that Notre Dame win on the surface looks less impressive now, but I still think it was a very impressive win.
Yes.
But outside of that,
Okay, can I name some teams and you can tell me whether you would rank them above them? All right.
yes,
Georgia,
Georgia's above Ohio State,
Michigan,
above Ohio State.
Florida State.
I think you could argue either way. I still lean. I lean toward Ohio State. I think that Notre Dame win was more impressive than the LSU win.
All right, Oklahoma.
Give me Oklahoma
Yeah, so that yeah,
and
I
give
think
me
that
Oregon. Give me Washington maybe. Right?
now how many teams how many teams now ranking them right is different than picking them to win the game. How many on a neutral site? How many of those teams are you picking the other team to win the game? Almost all of them. I think I'm picking the other team to win the game straight up.
As it currently constructs right now, as it is right now.
Correct.
Yes,
Correct.
absolutely. Now the thing is, when you're thinking about national championships, when you're thinking about teams like Ohio State, maybe Georgia, like 2 weeks ago, that were not playing elite football, but you have to think about this in okay, what's the potential of this football team? Like I do think right now, Michigan boat races Ohio State, right? Oklahoma and Texas, for that matter, Oregon, Washington. I think they both beat Ohio State. I wouldn't maybe not boat race. I'll take that part back, but I do think those teams are playing a lot better football right now than Ohio State and just as talented. The problem is once Ohio State clicks on offense, not once, if they click on offense, much different football team, much more dangerous football team, and that's where my mind is right now. It's caught up in the potential of this team and the offense. But yeah, good point. Great point.
Yeah. So also, well, let's not just talk about Ohio State. Let's talk about Maryland, right? This team. I like Maryland. I like this team. Uh, there are. I'll point out 4 games left on their schedule. They're 5-1 at this point. Remember that. Illinois, Northwestern, Nebraska, Rutgers.
Oh,
Those four.
oh my god, man.
Those 4 teams are left on their schedule. Like this is a team that could go 9-3. I mean, they also play Penn State and Michigan. Both of those games at home, though. Just saying.
Yeah.
Pretty scary. But like,
Oh, what happens if wait, real quick though, hypothetical, while we're talking about Maryland's schedule, what happens if they pull this game out, right? Now, obviously hypothetically, they lost by 20 points, but didn't even cover. But they were in position, to really make the game competitive. And then
dude,
you're undefeated Maryland with a tiebreaker over Ohio State, and you have Penn State and Michigan as right, you're both at home. Like
pandemonium.
that would be crazy. And obviously it didn't happen. We don't think about that. But I think your point is Maryland's got a really favorable schedule outside of the 2 really tough games in Penn State and Michigan.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they're dropped from the West, which I thought originally was. I thought it was okay, right? When you pull Northwestern from the West, right? You celebrate, right? Obviously,
Except if you're Minnesota. God damn it, man.
but they pulled Illinois, and I'm like, well, that's a tough game. I was really high on Illinois. Was wrong to be that way on Illinois. Was absolutely wrong to be that way on Illinois. I mean, you want to talk some of my bigger misses this offseason was Illinois being a very good football team. That was one of my biggest misses for sure. But yeah,
Yes.
Maryland's got a shot to win 9 games. They got a shot to win 10 if they somehow pull an upset. They'll be 2 touchdown underdogs in both those games at home. But that'd be incredible. I mean, and Mike Locksley. What are we saying about Michael Locksley then after that? Like, is he being talked about for bigger jobs? Like, is he? I don't know. He's done a phenomenal job with this program, I think.
For sure. No, I do think he deserves a lot of credit. And I think, right, in terms of like the expansion and the future of Maryland program, nobody is happier to get rid of divisions than Maryland. Nobody is happier. And nobody deserves it more than Maryland. Now, also, with that same being said, like your schedule is not going to get any easier. I don't think you're still going to play
It might
really
get harder,
quality teams.
which is wild.
Exactly. Like there's going to be years where maybe it's easier, and maybe you have a chance to make a run and be in the top 12, pick a playoff berth. And there's going to be years where you probably go 5-7 with a really loaded roster. For Maryland's sake, loaded roster. But yeah, I did credit Mike Locksley. Right, he slowly people kind of forgot about him. I think Tolly has been there forever. We'll see what happens when he goes and graduates. But they're year in and year out. It's a good roster with some pretty good NFL players. You see it come draft season.
Oh yeah.
Maryland's got some nice talent there, and this year will be no different.